morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching JanataTelevision and this is the English Bulletin with me, Sushant Akal. The top stories first. Authorities impose prohibitory order in Kathmandu Valley for a week. Only essential and emergency services allowed from midnight today. Poet Bhadra Ghimire passes away. The national poet died at his residence in Lainchor. Death toll from coronavirus climbs to 114 in Nepal. More than 1,000 new cases confirmed yesterday. Mutineering soldiers detain Mali president. The leader resigns and dissolves the government. And PSG into Champions League final after 23 years, beat German club RB Leipzig by a scoreline of 3-0. And now the news in detail. Government authorities have decided to impose a week-long prohibitory order in the capital from midnight today. A meeting of the chief district officers and security chiefs of Kathmandu, Lalitpur and Bhaktapur yesterday decided to issue the prohibitory order to contain the rapid surge in coronavirus cases in the valley. The prohibitory order will remain in force till August 26th. Coronavirus has been spreading fast in the capital after the government eased the lockdown a few weeks ago. The valley reported 205 new cases of coronavirus yesterday alone. As of yesterday evening, the total number of COVID-19 cases in the capital has reached 2,339, according to the Ministry of Health and Population. Authorities have decided to restrict the movement of people and vehicles in the valley except for the ones providing essential services or for emergency purpose. Poet Bhadra Ghimire, a towering figure in the field of Nepali literature, passed away yesterday evening. He was 101 years old. According to his family sources, he died at his residence in Lainchor at 5:55 p.m. He was actively involved in writing poems until his last days. His dream of completing his epic Ritambhara remained unfulfilled with his sudden demise. He was declared the national poet of Nepal by the government more than a decade ago for his immense contribution to the field of literature. He was born in Pushtun of Lamjung district in 1980 and often yearned to return to his village in his twilight years. He viewed life as a flowing river which moved from one place to another, just like he did from the village to the capital. He was born during the Rana regime when people were banned from writing poems. It was during those days that he wrote some revolutionary and inspirational poems like Navayuvak, a youth who has the power to change the society. He once said it is quite strange that the Rana regime banned them from writing in a free manner, but interestingly, great poets were born during that very period. He was inspired by the poems of Leknath Paudel and was very fond of the poems written by Kalidas and Rabindranath Tagore. The government has decided to give the authority to impose prohibitory order or clamp curfew in the districts to the chief district officer. A cabinet meeting on Monday gave the authority to the CDOs of the respective districts to decide on imposing lockdown or issue a curfew order after reviewing the report of the CCMC, which will analyze the infection rates in the region. The CDOs will also have the authority to call staff of government or public offices to work or allow them to work from home if the situation requires them to.
प्रमुख जिल्ला अधिकारीले कुनै स्थानमा निषेधाज्ञा जारी गरेको अवस्थामा त्यस्ता स्थानभित्रका सबै सरकारी तथा सार्वजनिक कार्यालयहरू न्यूनतम मात्रामा कर्मचारी उपस्थित गराई कार्यालय सञ्चालन गर्ने र सो बाहेकका अन्य कर्मचारीलाई सुरक्षित रूपमा घरबाटै सम्पादन गर्न सकिने तोकिएका कार्यहरू गर्ने अथवा वर्क फ्रम होम को व्यवस्था सम्बन्धित कार्यालय प्रमुखले मिलाउने।
The government has also directed the Home Ministry and the District Administration Office to take action against anyone who is found disobeying the protocols of curfew, lockdown, while also urging everyone to follow the Health Ministry's directive. The government has also decided to bear the expenses of all those injured due to flood and landslides from across the country, including the victims of Sindhupalchok and Kalikot. Further, the family of the deceased from these natural disasters will receive 200,000 for the death of a single individual, while adding 100,000 each for additional deaths in the same family.
जनस्वास्थ्य एवं सुरक्षाका मापदण्ड, क्वारेन्टिन र आइसोलेसन सम्बन्धी मापदण्ड, कन्ट्र्याक्ट ट्रेसिङ सम्बन्धी मापदण्ड तथा अन्य व्यवस्थाहरू कोभिड-19 रोकथाम, नियन्त्रण र उपचारको सम्बन्धमा संक्रामक रोग ऐन 2020 बमोजिमका आदेशको अङ्ग भएकोले त्यस्ता सबै आदेश, मापदण्ड तथा व्यवस्थाहरूको पालना गर्ने गराउने कार्य कोभिड-19 क्राइसिस म्यानेजमेन्ट सेन्टर CCMC र सम्बन्धित मन्त्रालय एवं निकायहरूले प्रभावकारी रूपमा कार्यान्वयन गराउने.
Also, those people who lost their houses, crops and lands due to these natural calamities will also receive a sum of 15,000 for a family of 5, while families with 6 or more members will receive a sum of 20,000. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. 7 more people have succumbed to COVID-19 infections in the country. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, the deceased were males from Kabre, Nawalparasi, Morang, Dhanusha, Bake and Kaski, and a female from Tanahu. With this, death toll from COVID-19 in Nepal has climbed to 114.
आज 7 जनाको दुःखद निधन भएको छ. काभ्रे, नवलपरासी, मोरङ, धनुषा, बाँके र कास्कीका एक जना पुरुष र तनहुँ जिल्लाका 1 जना महिला गरी आजसम्म जम्मा 114 जनाको दुःखद निधन भएको छ.
Similarly, Nepal yesterday recorded highest number of COVID-19 cases in a single day. According to Dr. Jageshwar Gautam, spokesperson at the Health Ministry, more than 1,000 COVID-19 cases were confirmed throughout the country in a single day. Out of 13,761 PCR tests conducted yesterday, more than 1,016 individuals tested positive for novel coronavirus. With this, the total tally of infection has reached 28,257.
1016 र आजसम्म संक्रमित हुनुहुनेहरू ठिक भएर फर्किनु भएका र सक्रिय संक्रमित गरी जम्मा 28,257.
More than 17,580 individuals have made recovery from the disease so far, while 10,563 individuals are recovering from treatment. More than 654 police personnel across the country, including 2 deputy inspector generals deployed at Nepal Police Hospital, have tested positive for novel coronavirus so far. With the rising number of cases, security forces have also raised questions regarding COVID-19 insurances. Police personnel have been exposed to the risk of COVID-19 infection the most due to their line of duty. More than 36 police staffers working at Nepal Police Hospital Maharajganj have been infected with the disease, while 254 infected police have already made recovery and returned home after treatment. 400 more with active infections have been receiving treatment as per the information provided by Nepal Police Headquarters. Altogether, 163 police personnel who tested positive for the disease were stationed at the Nepal Police Headquarters. Police Headquarters has attributed to the growing infection among the police personnel to the nature of their job, concluding that the frontline workers are at the highest risk of COVID-19 infection. No police staffer has received the insurance amount till date. However, Police Headquarters has assured everyone will receive the insurance money as decided by the government. Security personnel working with the armed police force have also tested positive for coronavirus in an alarming rate. So far, 291 AFP personnel have tested positive for the disease. People across the country are celebrating Kushe Aunsi today, which is also known as the Father's Day. People pay respect to their father on this day, which falls on the new moon day in the month of Bhadra, according to the Nepali calendar. Children give gifts to their fathers to celebrate the bond between them. People also offer prayers to their deceased father on this day by visiting holy sites, including Gokarneshwar Mahadev temple in the capital. Others perform rituals praying for the well-being of the departed soul. However, pilgrimage during Father's Day has been hampered this year due to COVID-19 crisis. And now the news from the economic front. Nepal Bankers Association has urged all stakeholders to focus on digital banking due to the high risk of COVID-19 infection in banks and financial institutions as a result of overcrowding. Issuing a statement on Monday, the association urged the customers not to visit any branch of banks unless it is absolutely necessary. Instead, it has requested everyone to use digital banking service. In the statement, Nepal Bankers Association has appealed to all its customers to prioritize electronic transactions to minimize the risk of COVID-19 transmission, which has taken the form of a pandemic. The statement mentions that one can easily deposit or transfer money in bank accounts from home or avail details of transaction through the use of digital banking. In such context, it is advisable to promote the use of digital banking, the statement said. The customers can call the bank or respective branches if there is any problem in digital banking or for changing the passwords, reads the statement. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back, and now the international news. Mali President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta resigned yesterday and dissolved the parliament hours after mutifying soldiers detained him at gunpoint, Reuters reported. The news agency reported that the latest incident has plunged the country, already facing a jihadist insurgency and mass protest, deeper into crisis. Looking tired and wearing a surgical mask, Keïta resigned in a brief address broadcast on state television after troops seized him along with Prime Minister Bouba Cissé and other top officials. If today certain elements of our armed force want this to end through their intervention, do I really have a choice? He said from a military base in Kati outside the capital, Bamako, where he had been detained earlier in the day. It was not immediately clear who was leading the revolt, who would govern in Keïta's absence, or what the mutineers wanted. Mali has seen months of protests against alleged corruption and worsening security in the West African country where Islamist militants are active. Thieves, more than a dozen rockets struck Kabul yesterday, wounding at least 10 people, including children. According to Reuters, the attack prompted some foreign embassies to order a lockdown. The identity of the attackers was unknown, though an Interior Ministry spokesman said 2 suspects had been arrested. The attack comes at a time when the United States is encouraging peace talks between the government and the Taliban. Trump administration is preparing to withdraw the last U.S. troops to end almost 19 years of war. The security scare in the capital came as Afghanistan celebrated its National Independence Day, marking the end of British rule over the country in 1919. You're watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. Paris Saint-Germain are through to their first Champions League final after defeating RB Leipzig in one-sided semi-final affair. PSG, who had been labelled as one of the continent's most high-profile underachievers on the grandest stage, finally seized their opportunity to reach the finals of the most coveted cup competition in Europe. The vast sums of money pumped into the French club by the owners Qatar Sports Investments since 2011 has enabled them to dominate domestically, but the European Championship has always eluded them. In the 3 seasons prior to this, they exited in the last 16, and before that, they went out in the quarterfinals 4 years in a row. This is the first major European final since the Cup Winners' Cup in 1997. For PSG, goals were scored by Marquinhos and Di Maria in the first half, and the victory was sealed after Bernat's goal in 56th minute, which gave the French champions an unassailable lead. PSG will play the winner of the second semi-final between Bayern Munich and Lyon in the final of this year's UEFA Champions League on Sunday. The opening match of the 2020-2021 French top-flight season has been postponed after 4 positive coronavirus tests at Marseille. Marseille were due to host Saint-Étienne on Friday in the first of 8 weekend fixtures in the Ligue 1. The French league was suspended in April because of the COVID-19 pandemic, with PSG 12 points clear at the top, awarded the title. The French league told clubs last week its protocol for dealing with coronavirus meant more than 3 positive cases at a club was likely to lead to a postponement. Marseille's defender Jordan Amavi tested positive last week, with another 3 players following in the latest round. Marseille versus Saint-Étienne will now be played on either 16th or 17th September. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin, and the headlines once again. Authorities imposed prohibitory order in Kathmandu Valley for a week. Only essential and emergency services allowed from midnight today. Poet Madhav Prasad Ghimire passes away. The national poet died at his residence in Loinchor. Death toll from coronavirus climbs to 114 in Nepal. More than 1,000 new cases confirmed yesterday. Mutineering soldiers detain Mali president. The leader resigns and dissolves the government. And PSG into Champions League final after 23 years, beat German club RB Leipzig by a scoreline of 3-0. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.